Hello, hello, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Cinderella phenomenon. We were awakened by an excruciatingly bright light. We went to sleep, intending to meet Karma, and then we didn't. So, it is momentary, and when it is over, I'm sitting in my bed, dazed and confused. My eyes burn. My hand flies to the pendant around my neck, where I see the second glass slipper with another piece. What? Hey! There's another piece. But when did I do another? You got the couple together! I grasp the necklace tightly in my hand as I make my way to the tavern. Everyone is doing their pre-morning chores when I get to the tavern area. I notice Karma glaring off into space, and then not far from him, the two knights. They haven't been up all night, have they? I make my way slowly over to them. Even back then, you were like some kind of shadow, weren't you? Poor baby. You don't have to hide it. It was obvious you were tailing me back then. Stalker. It was only because I was worried about you. I realized you really didn't have to follow me, Lan, but I'm glad you did. Lan? Jurian. Oh, shush. Fritz used to call you that, too. Lan is Garland's childhood nickname. He still gets embarrassed when I call him that. I see. So, what are you two talking about? Oh, we were just reminiscing. I look at the two of them critically for a few moments, waiting for them to say something. They both exchange a glance before looking at me, confused. Well, what? How did your date go last night? Garland makes a sound and turns beet red. Jurian's eyebrows quirk, and then she laughs. Oh, that! It went well. So well, in fact, that you can see the two of us are still very much enjoying each other's company, so great! Jurian is usually busy taking her rounds around the marchen with a scowl on her face. She looks happier being here with Garland, more relaxed. You might even say that we're dating. Ooh! Isn't it funny how red he gets, Princess? You were blushing just as much yesterday when I... One more word, Lan, and I swear I'll punch you. The two of them are both blushing now, and the scene is oddly comical. Who knew that the two great knights of the Order of Caldera could be so easily undone? Both of you are amusing to watch. The two of them stare at me, suddenly solemn-faced. I suddenly remember that one conversation the knights all had at the castle. They were talking about how they all had personal reasons for being knights, despite the fact that they all served the king. I'd always thought that Jurian and Garland were stoic and honorable, and that their only reason for becoming knights was a sense of justice. Seeing them here, though, without that stoic facade, they feel more like people. My curiosity is piqued. Do you mind if I ask what your reasons were for becoming knights? Oh, my father was a knight. He put his life on the line for this kingdom. Jurian's father was a living legend in his own right, and he had the medals to back it up. My father wasn't around a lot, but I always admired him. Judging by the look on Jurian's face, it's clear to me that she really loves her father. My mother died when I was young, and because my father couldn't be around all the time to take care of me, I ended up practically living with Lan and his family. Lan always got annoyed when I called him my brother. Oh, for obvious reasons. Now I know why. Oh. Pardon me. Jurian wanted to follow in her father's footsteps. Then why did you join the Knights, Garland? Because he wanted to watch over me. I never knew you blushed so easily, Garland. Garland seems to blush even harder at that, and Jurian's laughter becomes infectious. I feel amusement begin to bubble up as I watch the two of them. But a cold voice cuts through the laughter, and the atmosphere feels like a hot blade through ice. Hi. Oh no, Claude. Aw. Could you keep it down over there? I turn and see that Claude's eyes, normally so warm, are cold. His usual smile is gone, replaced by a deep scowl. Oh, we're sorry. He's still glaring at the two of them. Oh, I can tell him about the necklace. Karma, I got another piece to my necklace. Another good deed. Claude turns his gaze to me, but the frown doesn't disappear. That's nice, darling. His voice is calm, but flat and lacks any enthusiasm. That felt lackluster. And oddly disappointing. A good deed? Congratulations, Princess! You're close to breaking your curse. And what did you get the good deed for? I'm not sure, actually. You got the couple together! Maybe it was for helping Lan confess? I hear you and Karma went out of your way to help make it happen. That happened yesterday, though. Maybe the magic was waiting to see what became of Garland and I. Claude makes a dismissive hand gesture from his table, frowning. If you two insist on being so affectionate, you should go get a room. Affectionate? Jurian's smile has faded away into a dangerous scowl. Where Garland looks confused, Jurian looks notably irritated. The shadow is still there on his face. Claude does not look okay at all. Yeah, Claude, what's up with you? It doesn't matter if something's bothering him. It isn't like him to be so rude. Irritation is no excuse for rudeness. Fine, I apologize. Happy? He looks at me for a few moments, his expression twisted into a defiant scowl, but it doesn't hold long. Moments later, his expression softens and he looks away, almost in shame. I'm sorry. This apology sounds real. Okay. But still. We got points! Why do I feel so disappointed? Silence descends for a few moments before Claude abruptly stands up from his table. Excuse me. Claude turns briskly and heads upstairs, leaving me with the two knights. I wonder what's wrong with him. You think we've been running him too thin because of practice? I do not think it's you two. I get the feeling Claude holds himself back from saying what he means sometimes. Sometimes he acts strange. Yeah, like that time he slapped the shit out of Rumple for no reason. I mean, the first one was a reason, but then he kept doing it. Distant. And recently, he's getting more and more moody. Princess? I look over at Anise, who is smiling apologetically. Sorry to interrupt, but Mr. Broom is getting kind of restless. Time to sleep, I suppose. Well, maybe cleaning will help get my mind off of things. The rest of the day goes by slowly. I'm stuck cleaning most of the day, then serving later. At one point, I speak with Delora about the knights that had attempted to kidnap me, and she tells me that she and Parfait are meeting later to discuss their suspicions. I still do not understand what their suspicions are, when Sir Alcaster cannot possibly know who I am. My hands are sore by the end of the night, but I still feel like I can practice with the sword. I notice that both Jurian and Garland look restless too. Garland eventually leaves for patrol, while Jurian remains at a table, looking deep in thought. I do not want to bother her, so I decide to try and find Claude. I go to his room, but find that the door is locked. Karma, are we training tonight? No answer. My heart sinks. Is he not speaking to me? Did I do something wrong? For days, Claude stayed in his room, only leaving when he had to be on patrol. A few times I saw Parfait go into his room, but she refuses to talk about what is bothering him. It's gotta be something to do with his curse. Like, the beginning of the chapter referenced the thorns, so there's gotta be like a second part to his curse or something. I feel so useless. The beast for the beauty, mayhaps? When Claude did appear in the tavern, or out in the town, he still had that terrible grimace on his face. Look, I really don't want to talk right now. If you're so frustrated with me, why not just ignore me? No, I'm not going to train tonight. I'm not in the right state of mind. I don't want to talk about it. Just leave me alone. Please. I'm really beginning to worry about him. Today I'm in town running errands with Waltz for Parfait. It has been almost a week since Claude started acting so strangely, so I thought I needed to do something for him. I know he likes dresses, and he told me once he likes roses, but can I really find something that will cheer him up? Perhaps he would like some jewelry. Waltz, do you remember that jewelry store Karma likes his. I don't go there very often, so unfortunately no. Princess, is this a good deed? What you're doing right now, did you think it would be a good deed? Good deeds need to be selfless. Right? Generally, yes. I doubt this will count as selfless. I'm doing this to cheer Karma up. That sounds pretty selfless. But it's also so that he goes back to teaching me how to fight instead of sulking in his room. Oh, I've heard that Karma has been teaching you how to use a sword. Why do you want to learn how to fight? Because I want to be able to protect myself, and it's not like I can use magic. At least sword fighting gives me an advantage. I'm sorry, Princess. I wish I could teach you magic, but it doesn't work when you're under a curse. But on your 18th birthday, when you become the Tenenbaum bearer, you'll be able to use magic. I'll instruct you if you want me to. That would be nice. Though that does not solve my current problem. What would cheer Claude up? Walt starts chuckling beside me and I turn to look at him, confused. Karma's important to you, isn't he? He's my partner, and he's helped me. He's also been very, very, very patient with me, and smiled even when I've said some really inconsiderate things to him. I'm glad, Princess, that he's your friend. My... Hold on a second. I don't know how to get that word out of my mouth. It's like a really foreign concept. Claude does not feel like a whatever that word is. He feels like something else. Oh, Princess, is this the one that you were searching for? Waltz points to a peddler sporting different kinds of jewelry, and I instantly make my way towards it. There are all kinds of glittering things displayed, and for a few moments I feel myself drawn to everything. And then I notice the price tags. I barely have any money left from when the king gave me that pouch. I can't afford any of this. Pardon me. Maybe we should do our errands first and then look for a gift. Maybe we'll find something as we look through the stores. But if I don't get Claude's gift today, I may not be able to give it to him tonight. Let's be responsible human beings and get the errands done first. Waltz has a good point. We might find something while we do the errands, and then we can get them out of the way. Besides, it's not right for me to put Claude above everyone else. Oh, hey, we got points! That's good. Claude approves in the distance. We spend a few hours gathering the supplies needed for the tavern, and only then do we start looking again for Claude's gift. Princess, I can hold more of those bags for you. It's fine, I'm used to carrying a lot of bags. Does Karma make you carry them around? You're not wrong. Princess, you really should tell him off. He does a lot of other things for me, but next time I think I will. So long as he gets out of his room sometime soon. I really hope he does. Hey, Princess. But now the problem is finding something that he'll like. What does Claude like? Princess! What? There's no reason for you to shout. Waltz shakes his head at me, but he's smiling. Let me offer you a deal. A deal? If you help me set up one of my puppet shows, I'll pay you. You earn money from your puppet shows? I get tipped, so what do you say? I won't go easy on you, though. Yes, I'll help you. Oh, he's surprised. Why do you seem so surprised? I was just thinking that everyone's right. You've really changed, Princess. Maybe having Karma as a partner really was a good idea. Being partners with Claude may have changed me for the better, but I doubt I've done the same for him. I'm sure Karma would be very happy that you were buying him a gift. Receiving gifts from admirers isn't the same as you getting him something. Ooh. He receives gifts from admirers? For a few moments I think about the women who chased us in town a few weeks ago, and I feel a little unpleasant stab in my heart. Small things. A man will treat him to dessert every so often. I saw a lot of it when we did errands together. I always make Karma accept those gifts without killing the man. Killing the man. It's dramatic, but sounds like Karma. He punched Rumple when he asked him to marry him, joke or not. Karma wears his disguise to be convincing, but then gets angry when people fall for it. He's still very much a child. You know how he is. He doesn't like being flirted with. Waltz, do you know anything else about Karma's curse? His curse? He never really talks about it. Claude may be even more stubborn than me if he's not letting anyone help him with his curse. Waltz and I continue our search for a gift. Waltz tells me that I can look for something a bit more expensive and that he'll just put me to work on another day by helping him with his puppets. I return to the jewelry peddler we found earlier. Hello, madam, sir. What can I help you with today? Do you have any sort of rose-shaped jewelry here? The man refers me to a box full of many different rose-shaped earrings, and then shows me necklaces, and I realize belatedly that it is as if I'm searching for something for Miss Karma and not Claude. Whoops! My eyes scan the glass, nearly in defeat, before a little rose catches my attention in the back of the display window. It has a chain connected to it, but it doesn't seem long enough to be a necklace. What's that one? That's our simple rose pendant, madam. It comes with a chain, but it can also be pinned on the chest. The man takes it out of the display case so I can look at it. Oh, that looks nice. This is fancy, but not completely flashy. I feel a little click as I press my fingers to the pendant, and I realize that it can also open. Oh yes, you can put something small inside of it. This is perfect. This is perfect. I look at the price tag, and after making sure that it's not too expensive, I pay the shopkeeper. Waltz pays him the additional fee, and then we walk back to the Marchen together. When we return to the Marchen, I go to my room to tuck the locket into a drawer before I head to the tavern to finish the rest of my chores. Just as I expected, Claude is not downstairs today either. Jurian and Garland have taken to training with each other, though they seem agitated that Claude is not helping them. At the end of the day, I hurry to my room, where I write a few words on a piece of paper that I put into the locket. A normal rose would have withered, so I offer this one instead, in heartfelt thanks. I hold the locket tightly in my hand and start towards Claude's room. Blah, blah, blah. Why is my heart beating so fast? I'm just giving him a gift. I pause at Claude's door, remembering the last time I entered his room. I'm sure it's okay if I just go in. It's fine. It's probably locked anyway. Oh, it's not. I open up the door to Claude's room, which is thankfully not locked, and step inside. Claude is sitting motionless in front of his mirror, shoulders slumped as he stares at his reflection. He's shirtless, and there's that tattoo. It seems different? Claude does not notice me at first. I notice that his hand goes to the tattoo over his chest, and then I hear him heave a heavy sigh. Slowly, I close the door behind me. It clicks, and that is when he suddenly turns to look at me. At first, there's just shock on his face, and then suddenly, anger. Again, why do you do this, Lucette? Both, actually. But let's talk first. I came to give him something, but I also want to speak with him. And also, like, if we told him, I came to give you something, he'd be like, great, takes it, now leave. So, let's talk first. I haven't seen Claude in a while. Why? Because you've been doing everything by yourself lately? You came to complain? No, I wanted to check on you. Princess, can you not read the mood? You could have at the very least knocked. In no time at all. Cabedon! Claude is suddenly right in front of me, his hands outstretched on either side of me, pinning me to the wall against the door. His face is so close, his expression so fierce that I cannot even bring myself to think of a way out. The only thing I can do is stare at him levelly, without getting angry, without crying. I will not show any weakness. Why? Why aren't you struggling or screaming at me? That's what the Lucette I know would do. Then you do not know me as much as you think you do. And you know nothing about me. I already have a retort prepared when I stop, realizing that he is right. I barely know anything about him. No, I don't. but I'd like to. Why do you insist on poking your nose into others' business? We're partners. That's the only reason. It has to be. I'm supposed to help you, so why do you keep secrets from me? Help me? His lips quirk, but his smile is sardonic. Claude, I want to help you. In the silence that descends between us, I find that I cannot help but look at Claude's tattoo, at the thorns twirling around the rose. It is beautiful, but it also seems so lethal. When I glance at Claude again, he looks crestfallen, his eyes glittering like he might be on the verge of tears. Secrets are secrets, for a reason, Princess. You should know that. If I could speak about them, I would, but I can't, and you bursting into my room without any notice only makes it harder. Harder for what? Princess, you can't imagine what this all feels like. What is he talking about? And that woman, I thought we were meant to be. She was so lovely, her smile as bright as the sun. Claude's eyes are far away. That's why. Never again. But then you ruined everything, Lucette. You cut me down like... What are you talking about? I push my hands against Claude's chest, catching him off guard and forcing him to stumble back. I cannot take any of this. If I've ruined everything, then I'll just leave. You can have all the time in the world to yourself then. The locket I'd bought for him burns in my hand, and I end up throwing it at his feet. Lucette, wait! I ignore him as I run from the room, dramatically. And we will deal with Lucette's fallout in the next episode. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye! Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Cinderella phenomenon. So, in the last episode, Claude was acting very strangely, like he was being very depressed, probably for something to do with his curse, and I think it's definitely Beauty and the Beast, probably, and in order to break it, he would have to make someone fall in love with him without using his beauty, because the part of the curse was that all the women would fall madly head over heels for him to the point where it was just chaos and madness. So he'd have to get a woman to fall for him outside of that. And he probably resolved himself never to let that happen. But now he's falling for Lucette, and he's upset. And Lucette's upset because she doesn't know what's going on. And Claude just sort of took out some of his internal stuff on Lucette, and Lucette's just like, well, damn it, I was gonna give you a nice thing, but here you go, bam, runs out the door, and here we are. When I return to my room and lock my door, I feel too hollow inside for tears. It hurts to breathe when I think of Claude. I eventually manage to fall asleep, but only have snatches of restless dreams when my eyes finally close. Mother? Are you and Father in true love, like the fairy tales? I thought I forbid you to speak of fairy tales. Have you been reading them? No, Mother. I overheard someone in the palace talking about them today. Then I shall find that person and make sure they know what an appropriate topic of conversation in the palace is. But Mother, the true love in fairy tales sounds so nice. Do you think I can fall in true love with a prince? Dearest one, true love like that does not exist. But the love between a mother and child is the truest kind. It cannot be replicated by anything else. All other kinds of love is an illusion. My love is all you will ever need. Do you understand me, my heart? Yes, Mother. The Lost Prince, Chapter 8. Just gonna strangle that mother. Just gonna do that. Just a little bit. Keep your stance straight, Princess. Jurian gives me the warning, but too late on purpose. I can see the smile on her face as she effortlessly slides past my defenses and taps me on the shoulder with her wooden sword. I got you. Again. For the last few days, I've been practicing with Jurian and Garland because Claude still hasn't come out of his room. The knights offered to train me, and right now they are teaching me about ways to hold a sword. This is slow, but Claude did tell me I wouldn't be able to master the sword so quickly. Claude. He made me so angry that one day I could not even properly give him my gift. Yet I still feel sad that he's not here teaching me himself. Come on, Princess, focus! Focus, focus. I jolt out of my reverie and nod at Jurian. Oh, okay. I ready myself for her next strike and once again get tapped, this time on the hip. Garland takes over after Jurian, and then we do rounds where I try to hit them with certain strikes. They're both good at teaching, but it does not feel the same as Claude's instructions, which were very hands-on. His lessons seemed less like they were out of a book. Don't worry, Princess, it always starts out slow. Lan was just as slow at training, but look at him now! Garland whips his head around in Jurian's direction, his face turning a deep red. Jurian, that nickname. Oh, but you're so much fun to tease, Lan! She beams at him and then laughs at his embarrassed face. Our practice goes on for a few more minutes before the knights tell me to wrap up for the night. I think I'm going to stay out here for a little bit. Princess, you know it's dangerous out here at night. If I don't return in 10 minutes, you can come back and check on me. Jurian seems unconvinced, but she eventually nods. Fine, but keep your guard up, Princess. I watch the two knights as they head back. I see Garland put his arm around Jurian's waist, pulling her closer. I turn away from the sight, ignoring the heavy feeling in my stomach. I'll just practice the swings for 5 more minutes. The only thing I hear in the clearing while I practice is my shallow breathing and the wind in my ears. Something breaks my concentration, however. I see a glimmer of color in the forest, and I instantly stop, my hands growing tense on the wooden sword. What was that? I glance around at my surroundings, then I freeze when I feel a hand on my shoulder. I can feel someone's breath on my neck. This all feels familiar. Is this Claude? I'm pretty sure I recognize Claude's hand, but because I know it's him, I also know what he'd want me to do. I duck away from his hand and turn quickly to point my sword. The tip of the wood is at his neck, and for a few stunned moments, I think I've won. Even Claude looks surprised. It's really him. But then Claude's hand is moved, and he has one hand over my wrist and the other on my sword. Good, Lucette. You realized you had an opening. But you broke your concentration. Claude removes his hands, allowing me to lower my sword. I'm sorry, Lucette. I feel my breath catch in my throat when Claude holds out the rose pendant that I got for him. I feel my cheeks flush. Did he open it and see what was inside, though? You accidentally left this beautiful thing in my room when I came to return it. Return it? Yes, you left it in my room, so I only thought it appropriate to bring it back to you. Does he really think I left it in there on accident? Does he really? Why would I leave it in your room on accident? What? I bought it for you, and I wanted to give it to you, but you were acting so strangely, and... Claude's eyes widen, the surprise clear on his face. Lucette, you bought this for me? Why does he look so shocked? Claude looks at me in awe for a few moments. His eyes go back down to the locket. He traces a finger around the intricate shape, his eyebrows slowly furrowing. It's to thank you for everything that you've done for me. Lucette, this is beautiful. He lets the chain fall through his fingers as he stares at the rose pendant with adoration. I feel my heartbeat stutter as he turns to regard me with the same gentle smile. He leans forward and my breathing stops as he reaches out to hold up my glass slipper necklace. He's standing so close to me. You really are a good person, Lucette. You completed your... Were you guys not there when we told him, like a week or 2 ago, that we completed our second good deed? Claude! You Claude! I think some kind of congratulations is in order. Is there anything you want that I can give you? I look up at him and notice that Claude's smile doesn't reach his eyes. He still looks so sad. I feel like there's so much that I want from Claude, but I do not want to ask for something that might make him sad. He told us to smile at the very beginning, but I feel like that's a mask that he puts on himself. So let's get a hug. Come on, bring it in here, man. Huh? Yeah, hug. Bring it in. Come on. Arms wide open. Claude looks at me in surprise. He thinks I'm being foolish for making such a request, doesn't he? I shouldn't have said anything. Before I can say anything else, Claude takes a step forward and wraps me in his arms. He pulls me toward him, and in those moments of silence, all I can hear is his heartbeat resounding in his chest. I can feel his warmth all around me, and his fingers clasped gently at my back. I feel so strange. My heart is racing and my knees feel weak. Yes, good. Good, let's smoosh them together, just right like that. Something like this. He speaks right into my ear. It is a surprisingly pleasant feeling. Suddenly, Claude makes a noise of distress as he steps away from me. All of the warmness that was pressed against me 1 moment ago is gone. Oh no. Karma suddenly stops, eyes wide. He puts his hand on his chest and takes a step away from me, his fingers clutching at the fabric of his shirt. Claude! Oh no! Claude has a pained expression on his face, only making me more anxious. Not now. Claude, are you okay? What's wrong? Lucette, don't worry. We're worrying about it. You see this look on our face. It is one of worry. He lowers his hand with the pained smile slowly fading from his face. This does little to reassure me. Was it my fault you were locked in your room so long? He just looks so pained to be anywhere near me. No, most definitely not. I was feeling under the weather. And also bitter. Bitter? Why would he feel bitter? But it's not for you to worry about, darling. Back to darling. Where's the love? For now, we should head back. It's late and you need rest. I just got back from patrol, so I would like to rest as well. Is there anything else I can do for you? No, sweet Lucette. You've already done enough for me. He clutches the rose locket to his chest and sighs out a little with this gentle smile. This smile feels real to me. This is a beautiful gift, and I will treasure it always. Thank you, Lucette. Now, shall we head back? I nod at him, and we silently walk back to the Marchen. When we make it back to the tavern, I feel tired, but also lighter than I have been for weeks. Claude wishes me a good night before slowly walking off to his room, holding the rose locket I gave him tightly. Today, I'm walking around town to do some errands with Claude. It's been ages. It has been quite a while since we've done this. Though we are here to run errands, there's also something else that drew me into town today. Yesterday, Waltz came back to the Marchen and told us of an announcement the king was making today. Apparently, that announcement has been posted for at least a week's time, but Waltz had only caught on to it after hearing about it from the crowds after one of his puppet shows. I'm not sure what this announcement entails, but I feel that I need to see the king make it with my own eyes. I can see more people milling about than usual, which means most of them must be waiting for the king to speak. I have a bad feeling about this. It's not strange for the king to make announcements, but this feels so sudden. And with everything else that's happened to me, I feel on edge. Oh wow, Lucette, you made these bags sound a lot lighter than they'd actually be. Stop complaining, Miss Karma. You get valuable experience out of carrying bags. Seeing Claude complain is amusing, especially when I know he can handle the load. I feel like a servant. What does that make me when you made me carry all those bags before? An assistant? I roll my eyes at him. We're both working at the Marchen, you know. And then the thought strikes me. What do you even do at the Marchen? Claude looks surprised at my question, but then he quickly smiles at me. I train the knights, of course. I also attract customers with my beautiful reputation. I start laughing, and Claude's face flushes. Darling, I get the feeling you're laughing at me. I wonder. We finish up the rest of our errands and then sit down in the town plaza to rest. Claude leaves briefly and then returns with a slice of cake for both of us to share as a snack. I have a lot of things I want to ask him, and now feels like the right time to do so. May I ask you a question? Of course, darling, anything. Do you enjoy dressing as a woman? I don't mind it, really. I appreciate the beauty in anything. You girls get to wear quite an assortment of lovely dresses and makeup. It's quite beautiful. I feel more comfortable in my own clothes, but I don't mind dresses. I guess if you've had to wear a dress for so long, you'd get used to it. I have another question. And what would that be? When I was in your room the other day, you spoke about a woman. Were you talking about the witch who cursed you? Oh no, the woman I was talking about. He suddenly goes silent and lowers his head. His expression fades into something more melancholy, and I feel my heart lurch. Maybe I shouldn't have brought this up. To my surprise, Claude continues talking. Shortly after I came to Angielle, there was a woman that I met whose smile was as radiant as sunshine. She was beautiful, and when she laughed, everything felt right about the world. Hearing him talk about her makes me uncomfortable. Am I jealous? Claude watches me quietly, as if he's measuring my expression. Eventually, he goes back to speaking. I knew her for many months. Time passed, and I thought we were truly in love, and then He goes silent for a few moments, his eyes distant, his expression pained. Well, some things happened, and I realized she only loved me because of my curse. She was drawn to me just as any other woman is. She seemed so genuine in her comparison to the other women, but in the end, Claude trails off and lets out an exasperated sigh. You were truly in love with her? I was. I've dated many women, but I've never fallen in love with someone who had honestly loved me back. And so then the last person he loved was that one woman. Claude looks at me, and for a few moments he does not speak. Lucette, do you mind if I ask you a question? No, I don't mind. Have you ever loved anyone? My mother, of course. I was referring to a romantic kind of love. A romantic kind of love? What does that kind of love feel like? Allow me to enlighten you. He smiles at me, and it is surprisingly genuine. It can feel simultaneously like floating and sinking. Your heart stutters, and you worry about small things, about offending this other person in some way. You wonder if they'll like what you're wearing, or if they would prefer a sandwich to a casserole when you treat them for dinner. You begin to find beauty in all the things that they do. Their presence makes you feel complete in a way you'd never thought of before. You try to imagine life with that person and find that you cannot. Without that person, finding it. There we go. Words. To even consider such a thing is painful. So much so that it feels like it might break your heart. Claude continues talking, but my mind is already whirling. Though he phrases things in a way that still feels unnecessarily dramatic, I feel a tinge of familiarity. The things he's describing, those are the things that I feel when I'm with him. Before I can say anything, we hear the sound of hooves and the both of us turn. I can see a procession of knights, along with the king on his horse. He normally rides into town like this, but today he's not smiling, and there are way too many knights riding with him. And is that Sir Alcaster? Let's go find a place to stand and watch. As you wish. Claude walks with me into the crowd gathering around the king, and we find a spot to spectate at the very edge, closer to the alleyways. And we will see what is up with Sir King in the next episode. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you then, so bye-bye.